Sarah, thanks for joining us. You've been in your role now a few months. How are you settling in? How are you finding it, and how are you enjoying it, hopefully?
I'm really enjoying it. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. It is something I've always wanted to do as part of my career. I've been really fortunate in the fact that I joined the club 8.5 years ago, nearly 9 years now, in quite a junior role, and I've been fortunate to work my way through and make that progression. Not everyone gets that opportunity to do that at one club, which I hope for the supporters is reassuring, because they do have a really strong connection to the football club. It's one of those places that I think it gets under your skin, and people that have been supporters of the club for a long time know exactly how that feels. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's obviously something a little bit different for myself, so I've been used to being sort of in quite a background role in terms of football operations. It's something that I was obviously quite compartmentalised in that role, and now I'm sort of overseeing everything. So it's taken a little bit of a time to adapt, but I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm starting to flourish in it as well, and starting to be able to make tangible changes that hopefully externally now you can start to see.
So just for those that may not know, how does the new management structure work between you as managing director of the football club and the board?
So we're operating in a group structure. So there's 3 companies in the group. There's obviously Wigan Athletic AFC Limited, which is the football club. There's the stadium company, and then there's Wigan Warriors Rugby Club. So sort of we look at the two now as sort of sister clubs. I look after obviously the football club, everything to do with off the field stuff, and obviously supporting the on field stuff with Ryan and Gregor. I report into the board of directors, but I'm also part of the board of directors. Obviously on the stadium side, Neil Russell, who was new to the group, heads up the stadium, and then in terms of Wigan Warriors, Chris Radlinski heads up Wigan Warriors.
And so obviously Ben Goodbone was heavily involved previous to your appointment as managing director, and I presume you're in regular contact with Ben and Mike, obviously as the owner as well.
Absolutely. So Ben is sort of the most, obviously because I'm executive, my go-to contact on the board in terms of day-to-day if I need anything is Ben. So he's still heavily involved, and in terms of Mike, yeah, we have really regular communication with Mike. We've been having monthly board meetings since the board was rejuvenated, and Mike's been part of all of that. He's been really engaged. Bless him, he was even on holiday last month when we had our board meeting, and because of the time difference of where he had to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning to join the board meeting. So yeah, just sort of want that reassurance that Mike really is heavily involved, and I've got a lot of support from the board, which is great.
And you mentioned support, you mentioned the board, and it's great to see Brenda Spencer back with us, and as a non-executive chair. Just talk to us about how closely you work with Brenda, and obviously how great it is to work with her again and to have her back here.
Oh, it's brilliant. I think I joked a few times last week, because you generally don't see one without the other, so we're like Wigan's rubbish version of Ant and Dec. We work really closely together. It's a relationship that's been forged over quite a number of years. We've always travelled together with for away games. I absolutely love listening to her stories, and she's a real asset to the football club. She has been and done so much here. It's a really strong move from the football club, bringing back that level of experience. But for me, as well as someone that's quite new to the role, having someone there that's been there and done that, particularly another female, because I think football needs more female role models. So Brenda is the perfect example of that. So yeah, I couldn't have more support on that side and a better mentor if they tried.
And normally, or sometimes in a new role, you'd like a nice, easy start. It's probably not been that way for you. You've certainly had a busy few months, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. We had to make some tough decisions quite early. It's one of those that you can't shy away from them. If something needs doing, it needs doing. I don't want to touch too much on it, because it was a while ago now, that the decision to move on Shawn Maloney as manager possibly wasn't universally popular. We understand that he was a character that had a long affiliation with the club, and he'd done a lot in terms of helping us stabilise over the last couple of years, and genuinely left with our best wishes, and he's always welcome back. But what I do hope now supporters can see is that we finished the season with quite a strong run of results in terms of, I think we were unbeaten in 8. which is really important, carrying that momentum positively into next season. And we've got a really, really exciting head coach in Ryan. Over the summer, he'll be backed. We're really looking forward to next season and hopefully pushing on.
And looking ahead into the summer, what are your plans? I know you've been busy with a number of different initiatives, but what are your plans for the summer?
Yeah, so on the field, obviously one of the real initial priorities is obviously sorting Ryan's staff out. He came in, he was brilliant, worked with the staff that were here, and now we're obviously looking to formalise some of those relationships and make sure he's got the support that he needs. Obviously the transfer window is due to open in the next couple of weeks, so working hard from a recruitment point of view to make sure that we're strengthening for next season and looking to have a push. Off the field, obviously we're working heavily towards the operations for next season. Season tickets are on sale. We've had a really good uptake so far, which has been really positive. We managed to freeze prices this year, which I think quite a few clubs have across the board, but not everybody. We understand the cost of living is pinching everyone at the moment. It pinches us as a business as well. The minimum wage going up, national insurance has really hurt some businesses. We wanted to translate as little as that to our supporters as we could, because it is important that we are accessible to the community of Wigan, because that's what we're here to represent. So yeah, and then looking sort of at the fan experience for next year as well. So we had a really good review with all the staff last week to say what have we done well to celebrate, because there are some really, really positive things that have come out this season, despite possibly on the field being not what we expected. Looking at that, what we did well, what we could do better, because that's important to reflect on that, and sort of what we want to do next year. So the off-season gives us the perfect chance to try and implement as much of that as we can to hopefully continually improve the experience for our supporters.
And just longer term, what are your plans? What are the club's aims and plans moving forward?
So one thing we want to do in the next couple of months is rebuild our values. So we've had values in the past, but I think now with a new board, it's the perfect time to revisit those. So what we will be doing is getting that feedback from all stakeholders. So we've done it with staff, we've asked our sponsors and our partners for the same, and I actually want our supporters to have a say in our values as well, because it's important that the football club means a lot to all those three groups of people. And it's important we represent what those three groups of people want. So one thing we'll put in the bulletin is a fan survey, and I'd encourage as many people as possible to partake in that, so that we can make sure we've got as many opinions, and hopefully it means everyone's engaged in those values once we move them forwards. And then leading on to that is fan engagement. So over the summer, as I've mentioned, obviously reviewing where we are, there's a couple of departments that I've looked to strengthen coming into the club. Obviously, the beauty of me being an internal candidate was I already have quite a good gauge of the business, so it sort of made it easier to look to implement things, because I wasn't coming in and just evaluating. So fan engagement is something that I think we've put in one of the previous board bulletins that we've strengthened. So the work we do in schools, the work we do to encourage young fans, it's really important we build that next generation of Wigan Athletic fans. And it's not a project that will take 5 minutes. It's an investment that will take 4 or 5 years to bear fruit. But once it does, it'll be fantastic and it will help us organically grow the next generation of the fan base. And sort of in terms of marketing as well, so we brought in a new marketing manager. So we do some things really well in individual departments, but tying that all together, making sure that we're telling the story of Wigan Athletic in a really positive way, and a story that reflects our fan base and our history.
And just finally, I know over recent months, you know, we've had the board bulletins and the FAB meetings, and transparency for you as a managing director, I know is key, and you're very transparent with us as staff members, and I suppose that's the direction you want to take with fans as well, isn't it, in terms of just being really transparent where possible.
It is really important. Communication is really important. I've sort of seen over the years, both here and at other clubs that I've been part of, where there isn't communication, there becomes voids of information, and that's where sort of rumours and sometimes quite damaging comments can come from, which doesn't necessarily reflect the truth. So what is important is that I communicate as much as I can. Obviously, some things are confidential. I can't give away everything just from a business point of view. You can't give away all your secrets. But it's really important that I will be as honest, transparent and as approachable as I can be, and I hope that that's reflected going forwards, that I really welcome feedback, particularly ideally in a constructive manner, because it helps us shape what we do as a football club. That's really important, and that's part of being transparent and approachable.